It's a little after 3 o'clock right now. We just got set up in the tree. Was not quite the entrance I was hoping for. Came to the lease to hunt tonight, and all the crops are still standing around here. There's a lot of crops standing around within a couple miles of the lease here, which is, I think, part of the reason why I'm not getting the deer that I was expecting in here so far. However, we came through some of the corn on the way in, and we kicked up a pile of deer. I think we kicked up like 5 or 6 does and 3 bucks that we could see that all looked solid. I didn't have my binos on me, so I wasn't able to kind of see which ones are which, but they were all pretty solid bucks, unfortunately. But we got in here. I haven't been in here since I hung this set in June, and it looks freaking phenomenal in here. I mean, basically what we got, there's a creek to the north of us, and there's just a little bit of ash trees through this marsh slough right here, and there's just beamer trails coming 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards past this tree. We got some bedding, kind of some open bedding up here, and it goes up a hill. But we got crops to the north, we got crops to the east. And there is quite a few deer in here we've seen already, so I got high hopes that we're at least going to see some deer tonight. Hopefully we didn't mess it up too bad coming in here. Got about 20 minutes of light left here. Had an okay night tonight, minus the chaos on the entry. We ended up seeing a couple bucks from the tree. Looked like one 2-year-old, maybe a 3-year-old, also. And then I hit the horns here a little, I don't know, hour and a half ago. I caught a glimpse of one buck. Came, checked it out. Just caught him for a split second. Looked like maybe a 3-year-old deer. Not a bad buck, but he didn't want to play. So we had a couple bucks on the other side of the lease here tonight on camera. That wasn't too bad either. This wind is going to be switching tonight to north in the morning. So that'll probably put us in the ground blind in the morning on the other side of the property. We're probably going to have to get in here kind of early because we got a little bit of work getting into here with this corn standing. We got to probably get creative and come through the corn rows to get into the blind. Hopefully we don't booger anything up too bad on the way in. But there's been some decent activity of bucks cruising past that blind kind of all day. But just kind of wanted to sit the lease tonight just to see if we're missing out on stuff on the cameras. We did see some nice bucks on the walk in and in the tree. So I mean, there's definitely good deer here. I'm sure it's just gonna be a matter of time before something big shows up. There's definitely plenty of deer around, especially with these crops all standing here. We got turkeys flying up in the background behind us. It's a beautiful end of day one here in Iowa. Hopefully tomorrow we can make something happen here. It's just cracking daylight here. It's November 9th. We snuck into the ground blind here on the lease this morning. Cameras were kind of slow through the night on this property, but we came in here. We actually had to come through the corn and get a little creative in how we approach this blind. I don't think we got in here too bad. We did kick up a couple bucks in the corn. Nothing too big that we could see. But we've only been in the blind half hour. We've had 10 does and fawns come through already, which gives me a lot of confidence in this spot. Kind of surprised that nothing really big has shown up yet on the trail cameras. I got 2 cameras here that aren't cell cameras though, so maybe something on those that we're missing, but I got high hopes here, especially with all them does coming through, that we're going to catch a buck on his feet this morning. We're closing in on 9:30 here this morning. We actually had a pretty solid morning. We've seen 10 does and fawns. And then we had a little, I think it was a 1.5-year-old buck come through. None of these deer had a clue. None of these deer had a clue that we were even in here. But I think we're gonna probably get out shortly. I'd like to stay here longer, but I got 1 camera on public. That's quite a ways away I want to check, and that's going to kind of determine where we sit tonight. That's kind of the last card that I have to pull on public. I got 2 other cameras on the lease here, 2 Moultries that aren't cell cameras, and I want to take a look at them just in case there's something out here that we're missing. So we're going to probably get out early just because we got a lot of running around to do, and then that'll kind of determine what we do this afternoon. I'm guessing we're gonna end up on public somewhere. I got two kind of spots in mind. It's just gonna depend on this last card pull, what we get on the cameras there, and go from there. So we're gonna get out of here now and get some of these chores done, and we'll be back in the tree in the afternoon.
Hell yeah, man. Dude.
He's not a he's not a monster, but that's a hell of a public land deer, man.
Okay, how about the black racks, buddy?
The black racks did it. We were just sitting here, and Jim goes, "Mike, good buck, good buck." We had a buck. It might have been the one that we actually seen up on the hill. It could have been. That one up on the hill looked a little bit bigger, but he was working that edge of the fence line on the private, actually, and he dropped down in that ditch, and I just grabbed the black rack quick, tickled him. He came to the fence, hopped it, and just came on a frickin' tear. Worked the trail perfectly, came around, and I wanted to let him come and get in front of the decoy, but I had a feeling he was going to try and blindside it pretty soon, so I figured I had to shoot when I had a decent shot. But man, he put on a frickin' show. The drought is over for the crew. Night, night. Bucky kite. We're tagged out in Iowa. Second day here. Unreal. Yeah, I think he actually came down and went up through here somewhere. And the best part is, he didn't die in the bottom.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He's a dandy.
It's November 11th. We're back at it this morning. We got rained out yesterday afternoon. We got in the stand. I think we were in the stand for probably 15 minutes. If that. Just enough to get set up. And it started raining sideways, thunder, lightning, hail. So we packed her up and got the hell out of there. But the rain finally moved out. It rained for probably close to 10 hours. But the rain has stopped. The wind has picked up. It's about 15 mile an hour wind out of the northwest right now. It's supposed to get up to 25 mile an hour with 40 mile an hour gusts. So we picked a stand that's kind of down in a low spot down in this valley. I've had some pretty good sits in here in the past. It's been a couple years since I've been in here. But morning started off pretty good. We already had a decent young buck come cruising by before shooting light. I think JP got a little bit of footage of him, but it was still pretty dark. But like I said, it's supposed to be windy today, but the rain's moved out and the sun's supposed to shine. And we're hoping these bucks will get up and move in these low spots out of the wind. We'll sit tight. We're kind of going to play by ear how long we stay in here. We're going to see what the action's like. For sure stay until midday. And if it's slow, we might move somewhere else. If it's rocking, we'll probably stick her out all day. But, November 11th, Veterans Day. Thanks to all you veterans. Let's shoot a buck. Why couldn't that be a hammer? He's got her again. 12 o'clock. Little midday update here. We had a slow couple hours, like pretty much 8 to 10:30. Excuse me. Pretty much 8 to 10:30 was dead. But since then, we've had some pretty good movement. Couple nice young bucks. Couple real young bucks, and then JP a little bit ago picked up movement over in this thick stuff to the west of us. Said it looked like a really big frame, but he only seen him for like 5 seconds. He said he had the nose to the ground, ran down the hill, ran back up the hill, disappeared. So at least we know there's a good one in the area. But we've had some really good chasing activity. We've had 2 different does that must be hot come past us, and things are looking up here. We were thinking about jumping to a different stand for the afternoon, but the action we've had in the last hour, we're just going to stay put the rest of the day and hope a big one rolls through here. Actually got a little buck bedded 40 yards from us right now. He's just over here with his head laid down on the ground, zonked out in the sun. But I think we're in a good spot. We just need either a buck that's looking for a doe to roll through or a doe to drag one past us. It's that time of year. You just gotta get lucky. See what happens here this afternoon. Hey guys, welcome back to another First Light in the Field. JP and I are in Iowa right now chasing whitetails. It's the middle of November, and the wind is absolutely ripping today. So I wanted to talk about this midweight merino neck gator from First Light. I'm not a big neck gator guy by any means, but we've got really strong winds today, and the last thing I want to do is sit up here and get a windburn face today. Nice thing about this gator is it's really lightweight and compact, so I can slip it up on my face and take it down, if it's time to take a shot, if I want contact with my bow. It's actually extremely long, so I can tuck it down into my neck and pull it up behind my head, and I'm not getting any wind on the back of my neck or anywhere. So if you haven't already, check out firstlight.com. They got a lot of good whitetail stuff. We're gonna get back to the hunt here. Got about 10 minutes of light left here. It's been a pretty good day. We've seen, I don't know how many different bucks, probably around 10 or so. A handful of does, a lot of chasing, a lot of cruising. JP laid eyes on a big one. I never seen him, but JP caught him going through some thick stuff. That was at like, I don't know, 10 or 11 this morning. But we'll be back at it tomorrow. We are gonna go dominate Taco Bell here after we get down out of this tree. And get mentally prepared for tomorrow. It's supposed to cool off. It's in the 50s today. Tomorrow's high's in the 30s. And it's still supposed to blow 25 plus mile an hour wind, so it's gonna be a feels like of low 20s for sure tomorrow. So we gotta bulk up on the T-belt tonight and get ready for tomorrow.